the We Wreck Records podcast.
With punk rock, it's like, you plug in, you make noise, and you express yourself and you scream into a mic, and it's the fucking best. But it's like they say, you only use like 5% of your brain. You know what I mean? Like I
In punk
felt,
rock.
yeah. El Bronx is the opportunity to express, a whole other side of life. But of course, in the beginning, it was just like people thought we were insane.
I was staring at your face the other day.
Hello, welcome to We Wreck Records, a new noise magazine podcast dedicated to the music that moves the needle now and forever. Today we have a very special guest, Matt from the Bronx, Mariachi El Bronx. It's the whole gang. He's a man of many talents. He's a chameleon. He can make really energetic music that hails from all around the world. So for me, like, mariachi music is soul and it's electric energy and heart, and it's music for dance. I think there's something very primal and eternal about music that makes you move. I think that's really powerful, and I think the emotional impact of physical expression is a big deal. What do you think it does for the listener and for you as a player that no other style of music can?
For me, it taps into, it's always tapped in. Like if you look at the Bronx and El Bronx as sort of like the duality of both bands, it's like for the majority of my life, I've been, for lack of a better description, an aggressive punk rock person, and the music that I've created, the lyrics that I've written, the energy that I've expensed and put out into the world has been chaotic, frenzied, and aggressive, and of course, I would like to think artistic and all that well-rounded stuff too. But it's been, it's been red hot, and El Bronx is the opportunity, personally speaking, for me to express, a whole other side of life, So for me, when the band started, I felt this very much like like I was finally setting like a version of myself free, a artistic side of me that was, that felt okay writing about, things like love, and felt okay diving into, storytelling and creating characters in music and lyricism, because I didn't realize how kind of boxed in I felt by my own kind of punk rock, ethos, so to speak, So life is a well-rounded thing if you're doing it right. There's a lot of different emotions. There's a lot of different experiences, and El Bronx unlocked a whole nother side of life for me. It was a chance to talk about the good things.
This show is presented by Grillo's Pickles. Grillo's Pickles make the freshest, crunchiest, most delicious pickles. And even if you're not a pickle fan, you should try Grillo's today. Why not? Live a little. You can find them in the refrigerated section of your local grocery store, so chill out and eat a pickle. This show is proudly presented by DistroKid, and we have a special deal for all the musicians out there looking to release their new music fast. DistroKid helps over 2 million musicians around the world release on all major music streaming platforms and YouTube. You keep 100% of your earnings, can access a huge range of features, and if you like this show, support this show by taking advantage of this incredible offer, 30% off your first year with DistroKid. Just head to distrokid.com/VIP/WeWreckRecords. A lot of beautiful things that are a part of life are the rich tapestry. And I understand you have been through a few of them. I'm going to play you a quote on the kind of the rich emotional thing from Nick Cave.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Someone wrote to him. Now he's lost a lot of people and kids and you.
Yeah.
I'm sure, it's been 10 years since you guys did a record with El Bronx. I'm sure stuff has gone down as human beings do. But he wrote this great thing. He said, "It seems to me that if we love, we grieve. That's the deal. That's the pact. Grief and love are forever intertwined. Grief is the terrible reminder of the depths of our love, and like love, grief is non-negotiable. There is a vastness to grief that overwhelms our minuscule selves. We are tiny, trembling clusters of atoms subsumed within grief's awesome presence. It occupies the core of our being and extends through our fingers to the limits of the universe. Within that whirling Gaia, all manners of madnesses exist, ghosts and spirits and dream visitations, and everything else that we in our anguish will into existence. These are precious gifts that are as valid and as real as we need them to be. They are the spirit guides that lead us out of the darkness. It's
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, he's lost he's lost some very he's gone through some difficult times, obviously with loss of children and stuff like that.
mm,
So, I mean, he's been through it, and that's, I mean, obviously you're talking about an incredibly prolific and artistic human outside of all that he's lost. So, yeah, that's a beautiful quote.
yeah. What's your take on it? What did like? I know you got married recently, and you've
Yeah.
lost people. What does grief open up for you as a creative person? Where does it, and especially like maybe going into this, when you're in that state? Because I find it can be a very creative state. I know when I've lost people close to me, it can take me into, or it can do the other. It can do the opposite and take you out of it. It's kind of a, I don't know. I think it's different for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, for me, music is, I'm super fortunate to have music in my life, and because it's really the only way that I've ever felt um, you know, uh confident and comfortable in expressing myself. And whether that's expressing something that I want to say directly about something that I've been through, or
Mm,
something that I want to kind of work through in the form of a story, or through something else completely.
mm,
Music is the only way that I've ever really fully been able to express myself creatively. So, with writing about grief, about love, all that stuff for me, um, you know, it's it's uh, it's intense, and it's complicated because I think for me, there's a certain, each individual has uh their own like pure source of that grief or that love or that inspiration. And sometimes the artistic side of you can get in the way of that. So
mm.
I think there's like a battle that goes on between, the unfiltered person that's, hurting, or versus the artist that's trying to say something in an artistic way
Mm.
that you want to put out into the world that people will understand. So there's like a weird kind of creative blur that happens there for me. But it's like that's part of the process, and that's part of the thing I love about writing songs.
Yeah.
For me, with this album, it was with a new record. It was just a lot. It was kind of overwhelming, if I'm being honest, because like you're saying, 10 years out of the game, a lot happens. A lot happens to you personally. A lot happens in the world. And then you have everything that's going on in your immediate world as you're writing and creating this album. There's so many things you want to write about. There's so many things you want to say, and all of them are important, and they're all kind of fighting for this kind of this chance to see the light of day in the background, set to this beautiful music.
Yeah.
And then you have, you have all this list of stuff you might want to write about, or things you might want to do. But records also have a fucking life of their own, and you could fucking, they could lead you somewhere. You have no fucking clue you were going to end up there. You could hear a song and sit down and think, I want to write about this. And then you hear the song and it takes you to this other place that's just a completely made up story about, the apocalypse and the end of the world and the four horsemen sitting around a campfire, and it's like and
You
then
can't
that's
fight it,
it,
hey.
you
It's
can't fight it.
it's what
Yeah.
art is like the other force. If love and grief are the forces, then art is the other force. And it's its
Yes.
own animal, man. It's got its own
Yeah.
ideas. It's got its own ideas about the
It's
world.
got its own ideas, and you can't like I've believe me, I've tried to fight that shit, and it's just you can't fight it. You just got to roll with it. And it's like sometimes songs that you like think of, and that you feel deeply, sometimes they fucking come out 10 years later. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just the way it fucking happens. And it's
Yeah.
just like it's the beautiful part of the process. It's also the maddening part of the process. But I have a ton of respect for artists like Nick Cave because they've harnessed that beast. Like there's a certain level of mastery with someone like that where, he can sit down and be like, okay, this is the song I want to write, and boom, that's the song that gets written, And it's like that's amazing, that's
Well,
fucking hard to do.
there's no rules, right? There's no rules. And it's what's really interesting, like talking about feeling like limited in some ways by punk rock. There are rules. There are rules. Like I spoke to Mike Ness one day, and he said back in the day, like when we were starting out, there was the punk rock police, and they're like, you can't wear this, you can't do this, you can't make this kind of music. What are you guys doing? There's rules. So I love that this breaks the rules. What was it? What was a song that went from one place to another place on this album that like you like walked out at the end of it and went, wow, when I put it with the guys and when I put it with this song, like I where it came from and where it ended up is like, whoa.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a couple of them.
Let's
Let's
go.
see here.
We
Yeah,
want this podcast to be a
absolutely.
companion piece. You can go and like learn a little bit about it, go listen to the song. This we are believers in all the way through listening on this show, which is an old school lost art. We believe in putting it
Yeah.
on and just lying down. I think that should be done more, and I think the world would be in a better place if people did that more. That's my
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so for example, I referenced it because it was very true, but there's a song called The Takers, and hold on, I lost you. There you are. There's a song called The Takers, and that was like this, I had this idea of just kind of, it was very much it's like a Western bolero type thing. It's just that the music is super cinematic and beautiful. And, I wanted to write that song originally about my aunt and who had passed away, and it it didn't come out that way. It came out like when I first heard the music, it instantly created this picture of like the end of the world, and you just had to ride with it. And I visually kind of drew up this idea of like the last four cowboys on Earth, kind of coming together from different regions of the world and sitting around this campfire and talking about how where they were, how it ended, and where it ended in the west, where it ended in the east, where it ended in the north and the south, and basically like the story of the end of the world and how like the legend from there would continue to be told for generations and generations to whoever survived. And so it
dope.
became this, yeah, it
Such
became
a
this
dope
really,
concept, dude. Like
yeah.
it's
I
feeling
mean,
pretty
not re-
apocalyptic right now, dude. It's feeling pretty. I you go on the internet for 20 minutes and you're like, okay, I guess these are the end days. Glad I grew up in the 90s. This shit is dark.
Yeah, yeah. No, it is, and that's the thing too with the music of El Bronx. I mean, it's so beautiful, and in a lot of ways, I'm like the luckiest dude in the world because I get to sing over it one, but I get to write over it too. And so there's a whole thing that just happens where, for me, it's like I go into an album with my own agenda, of course, of like, I would love to touch on these topics. I would like to write about these things. But first and foremost, you have to service the song.
Yeah,
And
man.
so there's a moment that like the demo comes to me, whether it's a guitar line Joby wrote or something Vince did or Ray or whatever, that first feeling you get when you listen to the demo or of just a scratch guitar or something like that. Being able to connect with that and then chase that initial emotion into visualizing something lyrically, or just, how does it make you feel? Does something you have immediately gravitate towards this song,
Mm.
or is it the basis for something new? And if it is the basis for something new, what is it? What are you feeling? Is it something visual? Is it something emotional? Is it something, like I don't know. So that process with El Bronx is incredible because, like you're saying about punk rock, it's not that there's rules to punk rock. I feel honestly that there's like more rules to El Bronx, at least
Oh yeah, good
like rhythmically, and there's such a history with mariachi music. You want to make sure that even though we do it our own way, that you serve the history and you serve the culture and you're part of it, you know? So
Yeah.
you want to be a part of that storytelling. You want to be a part of that, like, you know, the grandness of it all, you know? It's such big music, you know?
Yeah, man.
So you don't want to sell that short, you know? So but with punk rock, it's like, you know, you plug in, you make noise, and you express yourself and you scream into a mic, and it's the fucking best. But with that, I found that it was just, you know, it's like they say, you know, you only use like 5% of your brain. You know what I mean? Like I
In punk
felt,
rock.
yeah,
The primal part. You only
I
use
think
you use
that's
your
it.
lizard brain, bro. You only use
That's
like
it.
you don't tap into the prefrontal cortex. It's all fight or flight.
That's it.
There we
That's
go.
it.
We've
And you
worked it
know, it's
out.
like that's
We've worked
yeah.
it out.
And then, you know, with this stuff, it's like it's much more
I'm gonna do this.
of
It's more like this.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's a more in-depth process and it's really cool and it's I mean it's maddening at times for sure. Like every, you know, it's like we go into you know, like some of the songs in these albums I wrote, you know, I don't know, 9, 10, 15 different versions of them, you know,
Holy
just
shit.
because like you know, I just want to make sure they're right. And then, you know, you go through them and it's also, we're a band too, you know, and I trust my bandmates. So it's like if I write a song and it's like it feels right to me, but maybe I'm just too connected to it and then it doesn't feel right to the rest of the band or doesn't feel right as a whole, it's like, you know, I'll go back to the drawing board and rewrite that shit, you know? So it's like there's a lengthy process to El Bronx from the time a song starts to the time it finishes. And you know, some songs for me, like a song like Songbird, is one idea. You know, it's a song about writer's block, and it came together in 24 hours. Boom, it was out. Like, and
Which is the most hilarious irony in the history of time.
yes,
Talking
yes,
about
yeah.
writer's block, it came out in an hour in a day. That's so
Yeah,
great.
yeah. And then there's a song, you know, on the album called All Things, which is like literally like you know, every song, every line in the song is almost about like from like a different thought process. And but yet it like it comes together to be this song about like a trauma exchange. And it's like it's beautiful. And it's like this really, really deep song, but it's like, you know, it's like when you try to explain songs to people and they're like, what's the song about? It's like sometimes you don't really know until it's done. And then you're like, oh shit. Because, you know, you start a song with, I'm going to, you know, it's going to be this idea, these two people having this conversation and the lack of communication. And then it turns into this whole different thing. And then you still want to keep the line from the first idea, but then it turns into this whole nother thing. And so you keep all these lines, but then they work together. So then all these things come together. And then at the end of it, you look back on it and you're like, oh, okay, that's what this is about. And so it's this whole, it's a
Yeah.
fucking
It's
beautiful
alchemy.
process. It's awesome.
It's
Yeah, it's
alchemy, right?
amazing.
And then you and your
Yeah.
bandmates. This is going to sound weird, but I was wondering, like, what role did laughter play in the early days of El Bronx?
Ah, I mean, laughter
Were you
plays.
serious about it, or were you like guys like, are we going to do this right? Like, is this can we do this?
No, no, we were always serious about it. We were
Yeah.
always serious
Sorry,
about
that
it. But
makes it sound like I think it's a joke, Ben. I didn't mean it like that, but like just
no,
seeing
no,
what
no,
you
no, no.
guys
I
came
know.
up with, was it kind of funny to see what else you could do?
No, yeah, it was. I mean, it was. Look, everyone thought in the beginning that we were insane or that we were joking or, and you know, I mean, we're funny motherfuckers. You know, like
You are silly.
it's a huge part of what we do. But it's like, you know, within that, we do take, you know, we take the music seriously, we take the art seriously,
Mhm.
because it's something that, you know,
It matters.
it matters and we see it through. We put it out in the world and we don't want to put shit out into the world that we don't care about. You know what I mean? So, or that we're not like attached to or believe in.
Yeah.
So, but of course, in the beginning, it was just like, you know, I mean, people thought we were insane, you
Of
know,
course they did.
and I get it. And they
It's
honestly,
wild. I
they
love it.
still think we're insane. They still think we're insane. And I totally get it. You know, I totally get it. And yeah, some people, I mean, it is really funny. People see the band and they're like, yo, what the fuck is this? Like, oh, you guys are insane. And it's like, you know, I don't think we're insane. To
It's
us, it makes
beautiful.
perfect sense. You know,
Well, it's
it's like
beautiful music. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Yeah.
I know, absolutely. That's it. It's just about the music, and it's like it's beautiful music. It's a beautiful culture, and we're always, we always come from the school of like learning and appreciating and like and just wanting to do something different. We
Yeah,
want to do something outside the box, and it just makes sense to us. And you don't really know until you try something, and then you feel it, and you're like, wow, like I would have never imagined I like, you could trace the way I grew up, the music I listened to when I was younger. I grew up listening to heavy metal and stuff like that.
mhm,
So I guess there's an easy way to look back and you could trace how I could become a singer in a punk rock band.
mm,
You could see how that could happen. There's no way you could ever see that I would become a singer in, El Bronx. It's like it's just something that was so left of center for all of us. And that's the beautiful thing about stepping outside of your comfort zone
yeah,
is you never know what's going to take and what's going to inspire you to do something that's completely like that changes your life, honestly,
yeah,
So that doing that has always been a big, it's always been the kind of the mantra for the Bronx in general is just to always try to do stuff different and to always try to be yourself and to always try to push yourself out of your comfort zone and to try to create as much original stuff as you can while you're here on the earth.
yeah.
So that's what we're trying to do, and we're having a fucking blast doing it. So
Well, mariachi music and punk rock music are both part of culture. Like
yeah,
they're not just stuff people listen to. They're stuff that's part of people's lives. They're stuff that is creates community, that creates family, that creates like lineage and stuff passed through the generations. And not to get dark, right? From my distant vantage point in Australia, like the Mexican community in America, the Latin community in America are going through probably one of the most horrific things I've ever seen in my life to watch from a distance.
yeah.
Like, what's your take on all of this?
It's absolutely fucked up. It's like everything that's going on in Los Angeles and just in the States in general, and now in Minneapolis, with ICE taking people out of their homes and just deporting people left and right. It's fucked up. There's no humanity to it, and it's like I don't like I'm a big I'm a human,
Yeah,
and it's like
man.
I don't like when, I hate politics. I hate fucking politicians.
Yeah,
And
bro.
I hate it when people or uh regimes or fucking presidents or whatever. I hate it when they look at people in society like numbers or like fucking like anything less than fucking a dignified human being. It drives me fucking insane. And it's like I don't have all the answers for the world, but it's like I just know that what's happening right now is wrong, is fucked up, and it's like what we try to do is just, it's like, look, man, I just want to put something positive out into the world. It's like it's like I can't rip the system down to the ground. I can't fucking change, everything that I want to change in the world. But what I can do is contribute with some music and something beautiful and try to have as many conversations as I can with people about life, about art, about culture, about myself, where I come from, and listened about where you come from. And it's just like, it's just, man, like it's just like it's like bullies are running the fucking world right now, and it just fucking sucks. So it's like it's super frustrating, and for us, as much as you want to like just concentrate on music, it's so hard to now. Honestly, it's like it's so overwhelming. I know everyone feels it. Sometimes you feel like such a dickhead just talking about your art at a time when the world is so fucked up, but it's like this is our way of trying to contribute something positive to the world. So, so
Art
that,
is survival.
that's what we do.
Art
Yeah.
is survival. Art is resistance. It's art is all we have. Like this is the world we live in. We don't have the power, but we can at least like and you can at least affect the inner worlds of people and spread culture and make people feel better because people need to feel better. I'm curious, what kind of feedback over the course of El Bronx has there been from other mariachi musicians? And have you guys been mentored or kind of talked to them or like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
We
what's the kind of
so
deal there?
The vibe is high. The vibe is high. So early on, it was like it was funny because the mariachi community in LA, they were like one of the first communities to like embrace us for like just for doing something different and trying to take it on, because it's like, there's like there's levels to it, it's like anyone can walk into a store and buy a charo suit, but it's like to take on the music, to take on the history and the lineage, and to try to put your own spin on it, and to really dive into it the way we have. It takes a certain amount of guts, and it takes a certain amount of desire and love for the music. And that was understood. It was understood that we were coming from a place of respect and excitement about learning a different style of music and doing it our way. And so that was really cool to receive that love. Carla Tovar, who plays guitarrón in Mariachi Reina de Los Angeles, one of the like premier female mariachi groups. We've become tight with them over the years. There it's like it's a different thing, the way mariachi bands are run and the way we run our band. We run our band pretty much like a punk rock band. We're in bands, we're traveling around, playing different clubs every night. They don't really do it that way. So they kind of look at us and like it like we're just like, we're road warriors, we're wild animals, so it's awesome, it's great.
Totally,
I
dude.
know, there's, there's haters out there. I know that, but for the most part, we don't come across them. I mean, we played with a bunch of different mariachi groups from around different regions of Mexico, in London at the Barbican. We played this big mariachi festival. We've done a bunch of different things with other traditional groups. And some people look at it sideways. Some people are just like, holy shit, that's fucking wild. I mean, it's like anything else. There's some music that you like, there's some music you don't, it's like, but for the most part, they've been super cool to us. They've welcomed us with open arms, and it's been an incredible experience.
It's pretty cool, dude. It's like a whole new world. So, from a musical standpoint, okay, what are you? Can we talk briefly about your bandmates and like,
Yeah.
can you introduce each of them? Talk about what they can,
Yep.
what they play on in El Bronx, and what you're kind of most proud about them on this album.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
let's
Absolutely.
give some color to the musical world
Fuck
around.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah. So we'll start with the core of the band, which is the Bronx, right? So a lot of people don't know that the punk rock band the Bronx and Mariachi El Bronx is the same people, but it's just additional members because there's additional instrumentation. So with the Bronx, there's myself on vocals, Joby Ford on guitar, Brad Majors on bass, Ken Horn on guitar, and Jared Shavelson on drums, who plays in El Bronx. So, um, you know, Brad is from Louisville. He plays bass in the Bronx. He plays horns in El Bronx. And that was the thing when we were switching over to El Bronx, and Brad was playing bass in the Bronx. We didn't really even know he could play a horn. And so it was this whole thing that was meant to be. So and then Ken plays the harana and the rhythm guitar and mariachi. He plays lead guitar in the Bronx. He's born in Japan. Lives in San Diego. He's just a born shredder, just rock god. Joby's kind of the godfather. He started the Bronx. It was his idea to start El Bronx. He's like the super creative left of center guy. So he is probably he is the generator for all the songs. He'll send me an idea on guitar. I'll
Mhm.
do, all the lyrics and stuff like that, lyrics and melody. So everything for the most part starts with him and I. In the Bronx, he plays electric guitar. In El Bronx, he plays a ton of instruments. He plays the acoustic guitar. He plays the viola. He plays the accordion. He
Cool.
plays the trace. There's so many cool, beautiful instruments in El Bronx. There's so many just rad handmade things. And then you have Jared, who plays drums sometimes in the Bronx, but he is the drummer for Mariachi El Bronx. He also plays in a bunch of different hardcore bands, Paint It Black, and he plays with Joyce Manor sometimes. And he's just a great guy, awesome drummer. And drummers love taking on El Bronx because it's like it's that percussion side of just like it's just a whole different thing, and it's a super challenging thing. And he nailed it. He played his ass off on the record.
Yeah, man.
He's just a really great drummer, awesome dude. And then you have the extra players for El Bronx, which Vincent Hidalgo can't be understated. He's like the heart and soul of the group. His dad is the singer for Los Lobos. Incredible, Hispanic, Americana. They do all the traditional mariachi shit. They do rock and roll shit. They do blues shit. They do Americana shit. And like they're one of the best bands of all time. People out there who don't know about them, definitely look them up. But you've probably heard, like their big kind of, I guess blowout moment was the La Bamba soundtrack. They were all over that. So that's an incredible band, and Vince is like, the musical lineage in that family is just so incredible. So Vince is like our authenticator. He always has been. We always go to Vince to be like, is this right? Are we doing this right? Is this rhythm right? Should we do it a different way? And
That's
he
cool.
kind of makes sure everything is done correctly. And he plays the guitar. He's probably one of the most insane musicians anyone could ever meet, and also one of the weirdest and greatest guys you can ever be around. He's just a gem of a human being. So he plays the guitar, which is the big giant like acoustic bass type thing.
Yeah,
So it's like a
cool.
big. So he's a monster. And then Keith Douglas is the other horn player. He was in Mad Caddies for the majority of his early career, 90s and early 2000s. He's a lifetime musician. Just he plays the horn with his soul, man. I mean, he is just he loves it. He's just a pure player, great instrumentalist. And the newest addition to the band is Katie Jacoby, who's playing violin. She's an
Yeah.
incredible player. Yeah, she plays with the Who. She
What?
comes out during like Bab O'Reilly, and she does all this stuff on that song.
So,
Excuse me. Yeah, she's incredible.
what a
And
fucking band, dude. Yeah. Oh wait,
yeah,
yeah, you,
that's what I'm saying. It's like I feel. I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm some sort of like
you're pretty
dumpster
good.
or anything, but
You're
it's
pretty
like
good.
I'm the lucky guy in the band who gets to be, around all these incredible players, and they all play so great together. And like right now we're rehearsing, we got all these shows coming up, and it's just crazy, seeing how all the songs come together from writing them, demos, recording them in the studio, because a lot of this album, we're spread out now and everyone's older and got their own shit going on and stuff like that. So a lot of this album was done. We demoed it in our own home studios, passing ideas back and forth, and then we got all the songs together. But a lot of it, like, really, really, truly came to life in the studio, more so than our last three records. So
Cool.
there was a fair amount of like, when the record was done, it was like, oh shit, we got to like learn how to play all this stuff like together, make sure, make,
Which
make
is
sure
no
it actually
joke.
works.
Wait,
No,
which is
that's a,
no
that's
joke.
it's no joke at all. That's a big part of the process. But
You've
but
got an
that's
easy job, Matt. You've got a pretty easy job in the band, to be honest. Like,
hey,
ooh, show
hey,
up, get all the attention, say all the words.
yeah,
Everyone's
yeah,
looking
yeah,
at
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I
you
have to
bring
do all
it.
the podcasts too,
You do,
don't
but you
forget
just true.
that.
Yeah, this is the hard work. Um, so, I mean, it's been over a decade. If you could like go back in time, right? And you could like, if you were like a little ghost wraith creature, and you could like whisper in the ear of Matt back then, 2015 or, that kind of era, what would you say? What would you say to Matt about what was about to happen?
Man,
Shit gonna go down, bro.
yeah. I mean, it's I wrestle with this a lot just because, I'm in this like, as I'm in this very reflective state of mind. I think right now, as you get older, it just comes naturally. And then also, writing a record, releasing a record in these times is really difficult. It's really, I mean, the music industry, like you're saying, it's a great time for music. There's so many incredible bands out there, but everyone's story is unique and different. And as some bands are going up, some bands are going down, and then it's like some bands are go back up, and everything is so fluid and changes so much. It's such a roller coaster ride.
Mm.
There's so many ups and downs. And I think if I were to say anything, to myself 15 years ago, it's just, you just gotta stay the course and be true to who you are. It's like, and that's thankfully what I've done and what we've done.
Yeah.
But it's a lot. I mean, we're, and that's the thing too, just going back to like, like the code of the mariachi, it's just like we are true blue, like live and die musicians. Like we do, of course, we've got a manager, I've got a record label, all that stuff.
You need to eat.
But we grind every fucking day on this shit, and we have for the past 20 years, and it's our life, and it means everything to us. And that's an extremely rewarding and an extremely exhausting process. And it's like the most insane existence ever. And for me, big scale, small scale, I know it was my destiny. I know this is what I've been meant to do with my life. So it feels good. But it's a lot, and it's like it's crazy, all the ups and downs, and the emotions that come with being an artist and a musician. And it's just an incredible honor to be able to do this and to put music out in the world, and to express yourself freely, and to have people actually give a shit about it.
Yeah, man.
And it's just really cool. So, that's kind of where I'm at these days. I'm just happy for what I have. I'm happy for what we've accomplished. I'm super grateful for it all. And I just want to find a way to keep it going, you
Well,
know?
that's a beautiful thing. You've got great energy, dude. On stage right now, you're a vibe. I just want to say that. And I had Heart Attack American as my alarm clock for years, so you've
Nice,
been an
nice.
intimate part of my day. Um, okay, well, I should probably let you go in a minute. What could punk rock learn from mariachi bands?
That's interesting. I think
How to dance, how to
how
dress.
to how to how to dance, how to dress for sure. That's it. That's it. It's like I was trying to think of some fucking deep thing here, but you're absolutely right. It's like I think there's a certain it's funny because I think in punk there's like it's like it's like the badge of honor is almost like a lack of pride. It's like you wake up, you fucking blow your nose and on your t-shirt, and you fucking go out into the street and you fucking flip everyone off, and you fucking go about your life. And it's like that whole kind of Sid Vicious, live fast, die young sort of mentality, that there's a big part of me that I fucking love and that I subscribe to that. But there's also like, the ethos of the life of the mariachi, of just like taking pride in what you do and working hard, and making sure that the people around you are taken care of. And it's like it's music as a way of life,
Mm.
not just a form of expression. It's like it's the full deal. It's the 360 view of the musician's life. So it's the good and the bad, which I think in a lot of ways, sometimes as artists, as musicians, you only just in general, you only want to feel the good. And it's like you can't have one without the other. And I think that that's something that I think all punk rockers feel, but I don't know if they express at times. You know what I mean? So
It's important to express yourself. All
yeah,
we've
hell
got to
yeah.
do now is express ourselves, and I appreciate you for expressing yourself.
Yeah, we'll do that before we can't do that any longer. It's only a matter of
Exactly.
time.
Yeah, let's enjoy it while you can. Yeah, yeah. Before, yeah, yeah. Look, we know we're all trying to get by, right, guys? Like
Yeah.
we're all just trying to get by. So go and listen to some mariachi music by some punk rockers, and feel energized in your day. It's beautiful. It's intricate. It's powerful. It's out next week, and it's an exciting time to be alive.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So,
It's an exciting time. It's a crazy time, and you know, thank God for music. Thank God for friends and family and all the positive things that are around in the world right now. There's so much fucking craziness. You know, it's like we're talking about. It's so overwhelming, but there are positive things you can focus on and put out into the world.
yeah, and you did that. So, yes, so this is We Wreck Records. This is Matt from El Bronx and the Bronx. Yeah, you're playing some shows. You've got an album coming out. What's happening in the
Yeah.
Bronx before we go?
So Bronx is, well, I mean, we're playing in Australia. We're playing some festival in Australia in Southern Adelaide.
Oh,
This
WOMAD.
dude, I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
WOMAD's a
This,
dope festival. That's cool. You're
yeah,
doing that. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
No. Wait. What does that stand for?
World
No, we're
music.
playing. No. We're playing. So there's this awesome dude. He's like a super Bronx fan. It's called a nice day for a pub or nice day for a
Of course it is.
nice day. Yeah,
That sounds like something we
it's
do.
it's something horrible for a
Yeah.
festival, but it's like we're going out there and playing that in I think February 28th we're playing that, so
Oh,
relatively soon. And then we're doing some El Bronx Super Show things in Australia after that. But the Bronx is, you know, Bronx is still, you know, is still going strong. I think once we kind of get through the initial wave of releasing this album, and we're able to kind of take a breath, probably around, you know, April, something like that, we'll figure out if there's anything on the radar for the Bronx at the end of the year. But we're always, you know, trying to work on shit. We always try to play, you know, when we can, and especially now, people are becoming aware that, you know, we can basically wherever El Bronx is, their Bronx is.
yeah.
So a lot of people are asking for both bands.
Oh,
And
do
yeah.
it, man.
So yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying. Yeah.
don't envy your tour crew. I don't envy your
Yeah.
roadies on that fucking
Yeah.
on that thing. Like,
Yeah. Exactly. But you know, Bronx is good. Hopefully we'll be releasing some music at some point within the next year or two. But you know, we're at this point now where we're just kind of going back and forth between bands and just kind of riding the inspiration and you know, seeing where it takes us. Yeah, there you
really
go.
cool, rock and roll. We Rock Records, Matt in the Bronx. Let's go and let's get down. As James Brown once said, get on good foot, do the bad thing. That's what we do here.